Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. So today I'm using my smartboard to help practice our rainbow writing skill. So in front of you, you see our foundations lines to start. You see your skyline at the top. You should see my mouse moving over it. You see your plain line or dotted line in the middle. I'll be using that and saying plain line. We have our grass line. And then at the bottom, we have our wiggly worm line, our worm line. We're not going to need our worm line for our capital I, which is sight word I. So I'm going to do sight word I one time on these lines pages. Just to practice, it goes from the skyline to the grass line. Pick up your pencil. So I always move my pencil out of the way so you know that I'm picking it up. And then our I goes, we go across the skyline and we go across the grass line to make our capital I that says I. And then we have a sentence about something we do. Now I'm going to flip over to my paper with outlines now. Now rainbow writing is not about perfect, tiny little writing in lines. Rainbow writing is about learning how to write our sight words. And sight word I, we already talked about this. It's kind of a funny one. Sight word I is just one letter long. You've learned a word. I. Not I. I. So I wrote it once in my color, okay? And on my screen, my colors are a little off, so I can't quite tell what color you're seeing. Oh, you're seeing it in orange, I hope. Okay. So now I'm going to take another color. I'm going to dip into my color tray, and I'm going to get another color. It should be a nice yellow. Now, I, sight word I. Take another color. Trace it again, and we're going to trace over it, just using our pencil, our crayon like a pencil, okay, to write the word I. And you write it, and you say it, top to bottom. I. And you remind yourself, and you can use every crayon in that box to make it a beautiful rainbow. And when you're done, it's going to be a pretty rainbow, but it might not be the neatest writing you've ever done. And I apologize if I'm not looking at my screen a ton because I have to look down here to see and make sure I'm actually writing the word / letter correctly. Okay, so sight word I, your job is to have a nice big rainbow there and to be talking about your words, saying I, sight word I run, I play, I, maybe making a sentence in your head as you're doing it, I go to the park, I have fun, I. Now, you want it to look like I when you're done. You don't want it to look like a rainbow or a messy ball of yarn. You want it to still look like your word, but it's going to be thick, it's going to be big, it's going to take up a lot of space. So don't try to write it on those little lines. If you're doing sight word I in your journal and you're rainbow writing it, use the picture space to make it a big rainbow, okay? But if you're doing it in your journal, you have to use crayons. You can't use markers in that journal, okay? That would be an in-class, and it should be an at-home rule. Don't use markers in your journal, because if you use markers on a little piece of paper, you know what? I'll do it right now. I'll do it right now, and you can see me on my little video. If I write with a marker, you can see it on the other side. And if you use marker and marker and marker and marker, like we do for our rainbow writing, it's going to go through and the other side of the paper is unusable, and sometimes it goes down to 2 or 3 papers. It's like you got the paper wet, and we don't want to do that, okay? So you're going to practice your own rainbow writing, and hopefully mommy and daddy can take a picture of it and upload it for me again, like we did with our animals in the park pictures and some of our other pictures. If mommy and daddy can't do that, they can send me a dojo message and ask me how to do it, and I will do that for them. So I paused my recording, and I hope it didn't look like I was in the middle of a sentence there. So hopefully I can see your rainbow writing, and we can share it on the Google Classroom, and I can start to put your work together, and we can kind of make books of our work and share it with everybody the more we have, okay? So rainbow write sight word I, and when you're rainbow writing it, you're saying it and maybe even using it in a sentence, and you're sticking it in your head so that when we learn more words, we can start to make sentences. That's how we start becoming writers. So sight word I, can't wait to see your work. See you later, guys.